Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. It is New Year's Eve, and this is your afternoon update, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, as we're going to be walking you through a winter storm pattern as we go into early January, followed by some true Arctic air, and how much snow you can see through the middle of January as well across southern Canada and the United States. We'll highlight that at the end of the video. So again, make sure to subscribe to the channel, check back often for updates, like the video by giving it a thumbs up down below. Also share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look at our high temperatures this afternoon, and really not that bad of a day here across the east. We're seeing temperatures in the 40s and the 50s out there. You move back further to the west across the upper Midwest, for example, the northern plains up here toward the Black Hills of South Dakota, even back into the Rockies. Temperatures are in the teens to 20s, even some low 30s out there this afternoon. Really temperatures that are not that unheard of for this time of year. As we go into midnight, this is when the clock strikes midnight. Wednesday morning, 2025 is rung in with some colder winter temperatures across the north and the west, milder temperatures out east, and if you are heading out to New York City to watch the ball drop midnight, you're going to be seeing temperatures there in the mid to upper 40s. So make sure you might have to have a light jacket out there as you're watching the ball drop later tonight. Here are the weather alerts across the United States in the tan shaded colors from the coastal New England all the way back down the Appalachians in towards the mid-south. We do have those wind advisories where some strong wind gusts can be possible through tonight and especially into New Year's Day on Wednesday. In those purple and pinks, those are winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings respectively, where the snowfall will be falling over the next 24 hours. Let's check in on the maximum wind gusts expected over the next 24 hours going through Wednesday night. And you can see wind gusts approaching 40, if not exceeding 40 miles per hour in some of these areas. The Poconos of Pennsylvania, down the spine of the Appalachians into western portions of the Carolinas, but also coastal New England starting to see those gusts approach 40, 45, 50 miles per hour as we go throughout the day on Wednesday. So make sure to hold on to your hats if you are heading out for any New Year's Day festivities out there. Let's look here at the precipitation this afternoon. We got a mix of rain and snow across the Ohio Valley, more so to the north. I think southern lower Michigan has the best chance overall of some wet snowflakes mixing in this afternoon. We got some showers, even some thunderstorms rolling through the east as we go through tonight, and this could actually lead to some shower and storm activity for New York City for the ball drop as we go into tonight. So make sure to have your radar app handy if you are heading out to watch that here again in New York City later tonight. The rain may be falling at times through the evening and into the overnight hours. Heading into the day on New Year's Day, this is finally January 1st, 2025. We got some snow exiting the picture across Quebec and into Ontario. Some snow in northern Maine, maybe upstate New York, western New York as well. Some of that will be lake enhanced. We got snow squalls across the Ohio Valley. So it's one of those deals where you have the low cloud cover, and then every once in a while you have those snow showers moving through with those gusty winds that could actually lead to lower visibility. So make sure if you're traveling in the Ohio Valley tomorrow that you are taking it slow on those roadways, especially with the wind and some of that snow out there. Out across the west, we got a little bit of a system moving in as well. We have some snowfall in the higher elevations, rainfall in the lower elevations of western Oregon and northwest California, and that'll largely continue into Wednesday night. Looking at precipitation through Wednesday night, the heaviest across the Pacific Northwest and also especially the Northeast and New England. We're going to be seeing rainfall amounts approaching an inch in some areas, so make sure to have the umbrella handy over the next 24 hours if you do and live in those regions that I just mentioned. And looking at snowfall accumulation, while no blockbuster snowstorms are in the picture, at least over the next 24 hours, we could be seeing at least a few inches of snow across the Pacific Northwest, Great Lakes, and interior Northeast New England, and down the spine of the Appalachians in West Virginia. A few inches of snow cannot be ruled out across those regions as we go through Wednesday night. Let's talk about our major pattern change that has been on the maps for a couple of weeks now, and now we're just getting into the period that we're going to have to watch this because we got the blocking up there in Greenland, north and east of Hudson Bay. We got the blocking up there in Alaska and Western Canada. What that's going to do is force lower heights across the eastern United States. That will be a trough of low pressure that will develop, and that will bring down some winter-like temperatures. So already seeing colder temperatures, only going to get colder from here as we go into the first 5 days of January through the Sunday, January 5th time frame, and that will be some cold air. Now, the true Arctic air mass will remain to the north into Canada for the time being. Positive PNA, that means we're going to be seeing warmer temperatures with a ridge across the west and the Pacific Southwest, and that lingers over into the Lone Star State of Texas as well. Now, we are going to see some active weather, a lot of energy flying around in this pattern here. The Pacific Northwest, we're going to see some energy that will provide us with a bigger, more moisture-laden system across the middle of the country later on this weekend. Let's look at the models and what they are showing here at 12Z. This is the 12Z European model here that came out earlier around midday. We have some clipper systems moving in off northwest flow on Thursday, kind of the the mix of colder air to the north, and we have warmer, more mild air to the south. And right along that boundary, we're going to see that clipper system track continue as we go through Thursday and into Friday. Now, Friday's the day we're going to watch for a apparent low pressure develop over there towards Seattle. And that will bring our energy that we're watching for the weekend into the Rockies on Saturday, and then a bona fide snow event potentially, and even a notable ice storm as we go into Sunday on this model. And this likes Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky with the colder air surging further south. Sharp cutoff on the north side. Arctic air is dry air, so we're going to have a sharp cutoff. Like I mentioned in the last couple of videos, we could have an instance with this system where places that are 25 miles north get barely any snow, maybe just a few flurries, and then you go 25 miles south into the snow band and you could get 8 to 12 inches or more of snow. That is definitely on the table here. Also going to be watching the positioning of this low pressure, depending on how far north or south it goes. Severe weather may be in play down here across the deep south and near the Gulf Coast. We'll be watching out for that. This particular model has the snow here basically from the Central Plains through the Ohio River Valley Basin and then over here into the Mid-Atlantic. Now let's look at this and compare it to the GFS model, the American model guidance. Again, still same confidence here, high confidence in that northwest flow clipper pattern Thursday into Friday. There's that system Friday on the GFS moving in, the low just a little bit further south than the European initially, just south and west of Seattle. And that makes a big difference as we go into Saturday, moisture a little bit further south into the Rockies, and this actually pulls the system a little bit further south. So the ice and the snow threat on the GFS is about 50 to 100 miles further south than the European, and that would pull more of that wintry weather down further south into the mid-south, possibly the deep south briefly, and then in toward the Carolinas, something to watch out on Monday if this model did verify. Let's look at the European model for the snowfall forecast. Again, don't take these numbers and run with them. Just kind of look at the placement of the snow track right now from Kansas eastward here through West Virginia and into Virginia and Maryland over here into Delaware as well. Looking at the GFS, the American model, same deal from Kansas, but maybe just a touch further south toward Tennessee, maybe getting significant snow, maybe into North Carolina and northern South Carolina, something to watch out for there. Then just for giggles, let's look here at the Canadian model, the GEM model here, and that is actually the furthest north envelope of all of the operational models so far at midday, and that pulls it a little further north towards northeast Kansas, much more of Iowa, Missouri, farther north into Illinois, Indiana, more into Ohio and into West Virginia and even western Pennsylvania. So there's still a lot to be discovered with this storm. It hasn't even reached land, and once it reached land, we're going to see those sensors latch onto it, feed them back into the models, so we can get a more accurate depiction on A, where the storm is going to track, how much moisture it has to work with, how much snow and ice we could see from it, and the impacts. And we're going to be finding out those answers later on here this week. Looking here at the national blend of models finally for the snowfall between New Year's Day tomorrow and Monday, January 6th, this is the most likely solution right now. And in looking at this, the Midwest, the lower Midwest is in play, the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast is in play for snow. And it does have some of those guidance actually as far south as Arkansas and Tennessee and the Carolinas with snow on this, I did want to note. Looking at the ice potential, this is screaming a notable ice event here somewhere in this pink shaded color, especially down here into the foothills of southeast Missouri, downstate Illinois, and southwest Indiana. I definitely want the Ohio River Valley to be on the lookout potentially for a mixture of sleet and freezing rain with some snow in there as we go through the weekend time frame. And beyond that, we're very confident in a very true Arctic air mass dumping into the United States from the north, and this is going to have some staying power not only through the 10th of January, but through the middle of the month, through the 14th, 15th time frame across the central and eastern U.S. Positive PNA off to the west and the southwest will keep the ridge going, and that will keep California, for example, Nevada, and Arizona warmer than average across those regions through the first half of January. Taken all together, it's going to be dry in California. Don't be looking for much moisture if you're out there in California, just not happening with this pattern. We are seeing some wetter weather across the plains and the Rockies as those storms come across, and then as that pushes further south, especially into the second week of January, Arctic air, remember, is dry air. So yes, we can see clipper systems as noted by the Climate Prediction Center, greens up here from Montana down toward the plains with those northwest flow clippers, but that storm track is going to shift well to the south toward the northern Gulf Coast, Florida, and up the East Coast. And I know, even though you see brown over here, don't get discouraged in the Northeast or coastal New England. We could still see some notable winter events out here into the second week of January, something we're keeping an eye on. A nor'easter storm track is definitely still in play here as we go into the second week of January. So let's look at the probability of an inch or more of snowfall through the middle of the month. This takes you through Wednesday, January 15th. Pretty decent, almost a certainty across most of the northern, north central United States. 3 inches or more of snowfall, you have to go to the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, or the interior part of the Northeast, or the higher elevation of the Pacific Northwest to see that. And then, of course, 6 inches or more of snow, you have to go to the mountains out west, the Cascades, Sierras, or the Rockies, the Great Lakes with the lake effect snow, maybe the Ohio Valley back toward the Midwest if we get a notable snowstorm as we go into the weekend, and then interior Northeast and New England. But also notice the I-95 corridor, some decent chances there for 3 to 6 plus inches of snow through the middle of January. So again, don't be discouraged. A nor'easter storm track is still on the table as we go into the second week of January. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Check back often for updates as we provide you with weather forecast updates 24/7 on this channel, whether it's on the community tab, a video, a live stream. We got it covered for you. Turn on all post notifications so you are notified when all of those are posted. Also, like the video, give it a thumbs up down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those after the video. And of course, share this video with friends, family, and on social media. And I hope everyone has a happy New Year's out there.